Alrighty, good evening, everyone. And this is our second Fireside Chat, and I look forward to doing it again. Last week went really well, and I thought we got a lot of good feedback from it. And this week we're going to focus on a little bit more of a different direction, kind of get more into the specifics of the project. And I got Marshall with me here again, and I'm glad he was able to make it. And I welcome you, Marshall, and I look forward to it.
Awesome, thanks, Marcus.
All right, so kind of going into more specifics, we got a little bit of the background last week, but I thought this week we could focus more about the platform and kind of the more intro parts of the project. And so first off, I wanted to talk a little bit about the platform. And I know, in the team we discussed that recently we have brought on a developer, but I'd like to give the opportunity to talk a little bit more with the community about that. If you have anything you'd like to really bring about, go for it.
Yeah, for sure. So we found somebody within the community who was interested in our full stack developer position. This individual who is his name is Mark, has actually been a part of our community for some time now, and he's always been active in our community. He's paid attention to everything in between Ember and Atheneum, and so he approached me a few weeks ago and asked about the full stack developer position. And so Chris and I interviewed him, and we really liked him. And, we liked that he was already a part of our community, and, he wasn't some Joe Schmo off of LinkedIn or, somebody who may have had this elaborate background and technical experience. It's someone who knows our story. They already know our project. They know what we're trying to do, and they can begin immediately with the vision that we wanted to pursue for Atheneum. And so right now, we have a few things that we're doing with a platform. And so first and foremost, we're working on our ecosystem of the platform. And so that's essentially our blueprint. Our ecosystem is going to lay out how users, whether it be a student, instructor, or an institution, or whoever else is interacting with our platform, these users, it identifies their flow within our platform. And excuse me, my dog's wanting to play. And sorry, I can't play it right now. Anyway, sorry about that.
Yeah,
so this blueprint is going to lay out how users interact with our platform, what features need to be included, everything that goes along with that. That could be from different payment systems to rating systems. Teacher ratings for students who have taken their course. They can go through and rate their teacher afterwards. She's alive right now. But anyway, so moving on ahead, we're taking this ecosystem and now beginning to really determine what system will work best in a scalable and flexible manner, because we don't want to, 3 months down the road and find out that the system that we've been developing a framework with doesn't have everything we need to include the features we want. So we've been vetting, Mark specifically has been vetting different systems to determine their viability with our platform. So we expect that framework to be built within the next few weeks, and that framework being, setting up just the basics of the platform. If it's user creation, setting up a shopping cart, setting up how it works with users, all that stuff. So that should be finished here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, something I actually want to touch on real quick that I found really interesting that you brought up. I really hope everyone kind of pays attention to something specific that you said, and that is the concept of the blueprint, and something that, in the past, the project I don't think had, and I think overall in the crypto space, a lot of projects are lacking. It's one thing to go out and say, we're going to do this on the blockchain, or we're going to change that. But I think people really start to forget that this takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of, putting your heads together. because it's a great idea and everything, but is it going to work? We don't want to get way
Right.
too far ahead of ourselves. And that makes me really excited, because it's kind of a long game, and we want to make sure that the platform works. Obviously, we're going to be running into problems along the way, and that's, part of the process, but it's kind of laying that foundation that is so vital and important. And I think that's something that a lot of people kind of see past. They kind of want to get right to the money or the gains, or where's my project? Where's this? I was demanded. It takes time. And look at the current big tech space right now. I mean, it's taken years for a lot of them to come on board. And I love the fact that we're going to hopefully take it in a slow way. It's progress. And it's the main thing.
Yeah. And to that point, a lot of people forget that like a lot of blockchains are designed to be sustainable for 10, 20, 30 years. Like the Atheneum blockchain, for example, it's a 30 plus year blockchain. Like max supply won't be hit until 30 years into the future. And so we have to think with our platform in the same way. We need to prepare our platform to be sustainable for the next 30 years. Like if we want to be serious about this, we have to prepare for the long game, just like you said.
Yeah. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's a matter of doing it correctly and doing it, as efficiently as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I think is really interesting is, kind of feeding into my next question already is, so what is being done to kind of spread this idea around the community and making sure people do understand that it might not seem like it on the surface, but the foundation, those bones are being laid, and what's being done right now to kind of spread that word or that knowledge around.
Yeah, so we're actually tackling that on multiple fronts. The first front that I really enjoy is I love interacting with the community. I like seeing interaction with people in our Discord. And so one of the things we've been tackling as of late is increasing Discord community interaction. And some of you guys may have noticed we recently had our first airdrop with an airdrop bot that we built. And so over the last month, we've been developing these tools that will allow us to help grow our Discord server interaction and our member base. And our first airdrop was successful. We sent out 1,000 Atheneum total to 200 users, each receiving 5 Atheneum apiece. And since we've done that, since we held our first airdrop, which was March 2nd, I believe we have. I'm trying to remember the numbers off the top of my head. We've reached about 100 new Discord users since we've held our first airdrop on March 2nd. So just doing small things like that can eventually turn into a snowball in the long run once we finally start to have a legitimate platform to work with. Additionally, for our Discord interaction improvements, we're also building a bounty bot, also developing a faucet bot. Users can come into our Discord on a daily basis and earn just a small piece of Atheneum, but it is a piece of Atheneum at the end of the day. Let me see. And then we also have started up trivia again. And Marcus, I'm sure you've participated in trivia. And trivia is a fun time. It's an easy way, a fun way to earn some Atheneum, especially if, you were unfortunately a user who only was able to swap 3 million or 4 million Ember. Answering a question in the trivia, earning 20 Atheneum instantly gives you basically what you swapped in the swapping process. So, those are just some simple ways that we're trying to increase our Discord interaction and get more people involved in the Discord and invite new members. So that's one thing. There are so many other things that we're doing. So we've also got, within the last month, we have listed on Masternode sites, Masternode listing sites. So masternodes.pro, Masternode rank, MN rank, and MN trend. Those are all 3 Masternode listing sites. And then we've also listed on Masternode hosting sites like Hash Hosting and Zcore, which has Hash Hosting. I just looked it up and it has 217 Masternodes that are hosting with them. So that already is a good benefit to our community. We're actually hosting a large percentage in lockup on the hash hosting platform, which is pretty awesome. Another thing to talk about is that we are creating a pitch deck. The marketing team is putting together a pitch deck. For those users who hate reading through white papers, they don't want to spend the time reading every single little detail about what a project is about. We will be creating a pitch deck that users can easily just read through, and hopefully attract some new eyes to the project in a matter of 8 to 12 slides at most. And then another thing, more platform specific, is our marketing team is putting together a prospect list to begin contacting different members that they might think would be good candidates to be instructors or teachers on the platform. And Marcus, you might actually be able to speak a little bit more on that regard.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple of things there that you said that I think is really important. I'm really, really happy with the marketing team so far. There's a guy leading our team named Brian. I'm sure anyone that's in Discord has seen him a little bit. I'm hoping to get him on here and introduce him eventually soon. But I think we got a lot of kind of similar to what you've been talking about, the bones and the project. We're doing the same thing, and we realize that a lot of things are being built in the shadows around the space right now. But getting the word out and getting people to understand the project, that's actually going to be really, really difficult, a lot harder than people realize. And so, getting that Masternode competition was an amazing accomplishment. I'm really happy about that. And so we're currently working on some of the banners and kind of promos to make sure it does communicate the project and the idea efficiently. We've been talking about doing a few more video series in the future that'll hopefully be coming out. I'm looking to writing those right now. I'll have more information hopefully here in the future. But I did want to quickly I know it's a little bit of a promo for them, but if you guys haven't checked out the hash hosting service, I just set up with them last week, I believe, or even a couple of days ago. It's actually amazing. I didn't realize it was that simple. Yes, you do have to buy, the hash coin to use their service, but I believe it's around $9.99 a month. And on top of that, they set everything up for you. So if you have multiple master nodes and you don't want to have to worry about the complications of setting it up yourself, it's a really nice way of doing it. So I'm not trying to promo them or anything, but I'm just saying it's really, really easy.
It really is. I mean, I haven't used them, so I'm kind of speaking as like a impartial third party, because what they've done is they've created this platform that for a flat fee you can set up as many master nodes as you want. So that's really cool. That's a good benefit, because especially for those people in our community who have, let's just say they're whales. Let's say they have just tons of Atheneum, and that's setting up VPS servers on their own, on Vulture or someone else. That can start to add up on a monthly basis how much they're just trying to pay in order to acquire these masternode rewards. So having a service like hash hosting is actually proving to be very beneficial to them. So
yeah,
excited to have that.
Yeah, it's really neat, especially since I don't know if anyone saw in the chat, but I recently discovered myself. I find it kind of funny now, but I found almost 250 million Ember unswapped on, I forgot which, I think it was CPADX Exchange. There's nothing that can be done about that. That was an error on my part. So now I'm glad I have some options, some services to kind of make back some Atheneum myself, whether it be trivia or the hosting, but it's going to happen. And I know if it's happened to me, it's happened to other people too. It's been a complicated process, but anything we can do to help out the community is, the overall goal. And, I think one thing that I want to talk about also tonight real quick is a little bit of a switch from our project. And I kind of wanted to get your idea, because I like to ask other people just to kind of see where the space is. But I wanted to kind of, where do you see 2019 going in the overall, the technology, blockchain, crypto? There's so many things being built. People don't realize, what is your take on that for this year so far?
Yeah, for sure. So as we're all aware, 2017 was a huge hype year for crypto in general. I think it was a big eye-opener that crypto is actually here and you can invest into it and you can be a part of its growth. Just like the .com bubble, many years ago, which we just celebrated today, the birth of the World Wide Web. Today is Tuesday, March 12th. And you can go onto Google and it has the birth of the World Wide Web. It's happy birthday. Anyway, side note, sorry about that. 2017 was a huge I guess you could say it wasn't a bubble. You know, we obviously peaked at about $20,000, which is a psychological selling point for anyone who's been investing a while. And I think 2018 was a year that I think 2018 got rid of a lot of scams. You know, I think people got involved in scams unknowingly in 2017. Some people like who bought into Embercoin in its early days got involved in a scam. And, you know, I think 2018 was the realization that like, oh crap, like this project I bought into is not legit. And so I think 2018 has kind of hopefully removed some of that out of the market, and you know has allowed space for new projects to surface and allow those people to actually begin building something and make the cryptosphere as a whole legitimate. So for 2019, I see 2019 being a year where I think the U.S. market specifically, the way I see it is I see them beginning to accept that crypto is here to stay, that they're not trying to push it away. Does that make sense? So like states like Wyoming are passing legislation to be pro-crypto. And I see 2019 also being a year where other states will begin to follow Wyoming's lead in in allowing crypto to be more, I guess you could say, U.S. resident friendly. Because right now there's still a lot of speculation, you know, is the U.S. going to continue criticizing crypto, or, you know, is it going to continue fighting against it, that whole sort of thing. But with the release of, you know, this JP Morgan coin, and, you know, rumors of Facebook creating their own blockchain and coin, I think that having those, although they might seem a little bit against blockchain principles, having a JPM coin, it does something for the space, because you're introducing an entire new banking industry, because one specific bank is utilizing blockchain. And so although we might be, you know, we might kind of flame or slam JPM coin for being what it is, but at the same time, it will have a positive effect on what can happen in 2019 for the cryptosphere, because people will begin to realize, okay, blockchain is not a myth. Bitcoin is not a myth. There's actually some legitimate value to it. And so I see 2019 becoming a year for the U.S. market to finally become stable in its regulatory policy. So I really hope what I think will happen does happen. But you know, then finally 2020 being hopefully, you know, another large bull run, that'd be awesome. So I think we're coming in at just the right time to be developing something.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much to kind of learn with what you said, and I really kind of urge people to almost listen back to what Marshall just said maybe a second time, because people have to understand that anyone that kind of watches YouTube or Instagram, I'm sure that anyone in the financial markets is getting a ton of ads right now that kind of is, I'm a stockbroker. You want to make X amount of money in a week? Well, we kind of had that in 2017 and a little bit of 2018. We had a lot of YouTubers that you'll notice are not really around anymore. And I think it got really inflated, but it also gave the projects kind of, like I said, building in the shadows. There's a couple that, you know, I've been watching now that I think are incredible. And something I kind of do want to urge everyone to really pay attention is, you know, if you are going to invest or you are going to choose to join a project, hopefully people did learn a little bit, or if you're brand new, even our project, you definitely got to do your research, you know, look into the community, look into the Discord, Telegram, Slack, see who's active, you know, talk to the people in the groups, read the white papers. I would hate to see people get burnt again. And, you know, it does end up hurting people like us when we say you're a scam. Well, did you actually read what you're doing? You're investing. So yeah, definitely take the time. It's a little difficult. That's hopefully one of the things I'm trying to hopefully find a way to speed up is the education process. And that is, you know, what we're working on with banners and things like that. But, you know, it is going to be something, but it is spreading. It's kind of funny. I talked to my grandfather yesterday, and he said, what's up with the Bitcoin kid? Like he knows what it is. My grandfather, he's like 85, and he knows what it is. He's heard about it on the news. he still thinks is kind of confusing, obviously, for him, but it's the fact that he's heard about it. It is making its rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's so many unknowns and questions right now, and I think that's kind of the fun part. Yeah, you can invest in it and speculate that it's going to go crazy. There's all these numbers, but I think it's a frontier that I'm excited to be a part of, because I wasn't able to participate in the internet one. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
pretty much alive for that one yet, but this is kind
Yeah.
of my version of that, and I'm happy with the project we have, and I think we're going to go in the right direction. So with that, Marshall, again, thanks again for joining me for another chat. I actually started to enjoy these because they're almost like a kind of like a real good conversation. So we'll try to keep these up, and everyone that wants to keep up in the Discord, please do. Again, keep asking questions, challenge us. That way we can try to make everything for you guys. So with that, Marshall, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Marcus.
Alrighty, everyone. I hope you guys have a great night.